Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Then, alhamdulillah, we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept from us our fasting and to forgive us and overlook our shortcomings that we may have incurred during the month of Ramadan. And we ask Him to make us steadfast and not just slaves of His during that month, but to be slaves of His during all of the months, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that steadfastness, inshallah ta'ala, is going to be us continuing in our studies of the Arabic language and the religion of Islam. And we have a few new people that, just to briefly go over, we've already read al-Mustawa Tamhidi, the beginner's level of the Mutun Talib al-Ilm, which is actually written after the first 4 levels or 5 levels. And it's a book dealing with adab wa adhkar, etiquettes and words of remembrance for the Muslim throughout the day and the night, consisting of 200 and some hadith, which we read all of them, basically word for word, as the word appeared a number of times and there was no need to continue going through it. Then we passed over it, but basically word for word we read it. And if there comes a point or a fa'idah that I'm able to share, then I share it. If there's a question about the hadith which seemed unique, then we looked it up and we read it. And we finished that book in 47 classes. And then we started the Matun Talib al-Ilm Mustawa al-Awwal, which consists of 4 books. They are Nawaqid-ul-Islam, al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba, al-Thalathatul-Usul, and al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyah. The first 3 of them by Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah. What we did is we read the metan, or the text, word for word, just as we did the first level or the beginner's level. And then our second phase of this is to read the explanation of Shaykh Abdul Muhsin ibn Muhammad al-Qasim, who is the one who collected the Matun Talib al-Ilm. He's an imam and a khatib in the Prophet's masjid, and we read his explanation. It was an audio explanation he did originally, but someone transcribed it and it was brief, and so we read it, building on our vocabulary. And we're going to read his brief explanation for all 4 books in Mustawa al-Awwal, and then we're going to go back and read the explanation that he recommends in his introduction to this series of these 4 books. The first of them, Nawaqid-ul-Islam, will be by Salih al-Fawzan, hafidhahullah. And then the second book, al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba, is also by Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, hafidhahullah. The third book, al-Thalathatul-Usul, was explained by Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim's grandfather, who is Abdurrahman al-Qasim. And this book has been translated into English a long time ago. It's like a small pocketbook explanation with colorful paper. Anyway, we'll read that explanation inshallah ta'ala, and then the recommended explanation for al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyah is al-Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam, or Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam by Ibn Rajab. Now that's a big book, and there's a mukhtasar version of it, an abridged version of it, and we may read it, but it's going to be a while before we get there. But we may read the abridged version of it instead of the actual Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam, because that's quite a long book. After we finish this level with those explanations, then inshallah your Arabic should be good enough that you're able to read on your own. However, and using the dictionary here and there. However, there are a few more things that I would like to do in this type of series, and that is, number 1, I would like to do Juz Amma, word for word, along with a brief tafsir. And I would like to do Sifat al-Salat al-Nabi of Shaykh al-Albani as well, basically just a word for word reading. And there are a few other things that if Allah allows us, we'll do it, but hopefully by then people will have enough Arabic that they won't need me anymore, and they can get rid of the middleman, inshallah ta'ala. So with that, we'll begin. As we said, this book is the explanation of Qawa'id-ul-Arba by Sheikh Abdul Muhsin ibn Muhammad ibn Abdul Rahman al-Qasim, the Imam and Khatib of the Prophet's Masjid. As we said, this was a lecture that he gave, and it was transcribed. And this happened in the year 1436, right? He begins, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. هذا هو المتن الثاني وهو متن القواعد الأربع. هذا is the اسم الإشارة, the pointing noun, which is for this. We have هذا and هذه. هذه is feminine. That's for this. We have ذلك. Sorry for the sloppiness. I'll try to be better. Not gonna be better like that. 1 second. ذلك and tilka. Right? That is the word that for masculine and feminine. Right? So he says هذا, this, هو المتن الثاني. Al-Matan is basically a text. Like when you have a hadith, you have from Bukhari, from Hamad al-Ansari, from so-and-so, from so-and-so. This is called the Isnad. And then the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's still part of the Isnad, he said such and such. This is called the Matan. Or when we have a book and we have an explanation, then the original book is called the Matan, and the explanation is called the Sharh. The Sharh. And we read that on the first page, right? Sharh. هذا هو المتن الثاني. This is the second text, because the first was Nawaqid-ul-Islam. وهو متن al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba. If we were to put the vowels on this sentence, wait 1 second. If we were to put the vowels, we say هذا هو المتن. Give me 1 second. My pen's acting up, yeah, come on. المتن الثاني وهو متن القواعد الأربع. أربع. Huwa here, or هذا is your mubtada. Huwa is going to be a badal. It's going to be a substitute for هذا. So I could say هذا المتن الثاني. This is the second text. Or I could say هذا هو متن الثاني with some emphasis. This is the second text. وهو, and this would be your matan, would be your khabar, and they're both marfu'. And then athani is an adjective describing al-matan. وهو المتن القواعد الأربع, and it is al-matan, and this should be, I'm sorry I wrote it wrong here, it should be matanu al-Qawa'idi, as it is mudaf ilayh. Right? Matanu al-Qawa'idi al-Arba. Right? Because the adjective has to agree with al-Qawa'id, so arba'i. So this is the second text, and it is the text of al-Qawa'id al-Arba. The text is, it says, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, he starts here, right? If there's any questions, you guys just chime in as always. The sister Hajjah will have to text. The Yuki 96, I guess. I don't know if it's a male or a female. If it's a male and you have a headset, I can open your mic. If it's a female, then you have to just text. The brothers here, you just tell me Hey, what's that? And I'll stop. No problem. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولاك في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. This is the beginning of the text of al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba. He says, As'alu. As'alu from sa'ala yas'alu, to ask. As'alullaha. Allah, lafdul jalala, is mansoob, because it's the object of our asking. Who are we asking? We're asking Allah. Al-Kareem. Al-Kareem. Al-Kareem is a adjective for Allah. So it's mansoob as well, right? Agreeing with the noun. As'alullah al-Azim. As'alullah al-Kareem. Rabba. Rabba here could be an adjective, or it can also be a badal, a substitute, right? Rabb al-Arshi. Rabb al-Arshi, the Lord of the Arsh. And Kareem means noble or generous. So I ask Allah the noble, or Allah the generous. Rabb al-Arsh al-Azimi. Azim being Rabb al-Arsh. This is mudaf ilayh. Rabb al-Arsh, the Lord of the Arsh. Al-Azim, the Lord of the mighty, or the great Arsh, the great throne. It's majroor, agreeing with the noun that it's describing. As'alullaha. As'alu Laha. Rabb al-Karima. Rabb al-Arsh al-Azimi. An yatawallaka. An is the word that. An with a sukoon appears before verbs. Anna with a shadda appears before nouns. Always, right? Either an comes before a verb or between two verbs, and it's still before a verb. Or it, anna with the shadda, comes before nouns. And it means the word that. That an yatawallaka. Yatawallaka. There should be a shadda on his lam. Yatawallaka. Yatawalla from the root waw, lam, ya. The word wali. Yatawalla meaning to take you as a friend. To take you as a wali, we'll say, right? Because there's a lot of people differ. You say you shouldn't say friend, right? Sheikh Falah says you shouldn't translate it as friend, but then he doesn't give us a viable translation or alternative, so he just says wali. Learn Arabic, right? So we're doing that, right? Yatawallaka, that he makes you, and this is mansoob after an. An makes the verb or the noun, whichever one it is, following it, mansoob. Yatawallaka, that he makes you a wali. Fi dunya wal akhirah. Akhirati, because of the fi. Dunya is also majroor after fi. However, dunya has this alif here, which prevents it from showing the sign of majroor. Dunya is always going to be dunya. It's going to be dunya if it's marfu. It's going to be dunya if it's mansoob. It's going to be dunya if it's majroor, right? It's going to be dunya if it's majzoom. Abu Tahir. Abu Tahir, you with us? Abdullah, Sheikh Hamad, is it going to be oh, you went out. Okay, no one wants to answer. Nouns are never majzoom. Nouns are never majzoom. They're only marfu, mansoob, and majroor. Verbs become majzoom. They take a sukoon. Nouns never take a sukoon, right? Fi dunya wal akhirah. Wa an yaj'alaka. Again, this an is making this yaj'alu, yaj'ala. Right? Yaj'ala. And make you. Ja'ala yaj'alu, to make. And that he makes you. Mubarakan. From baraka, mubarakan. Aynama is wherever. Kunta. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, wherever you were, like this, right? So,
Wherever.
As'alullah al-Karima Rabb al-Arsh al-Azim an yatawallaka fi dunya wal-akhirati wa an yaj'alaka mubarakan aynama kunta. I ask Allah, the noble, the generous, the Lord of the mighty throne, that He befriends you or makes you His friend in this life and in the next, and that He makes you blessed wherever you may be. Any questions?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Nah. After it's time, after we gave the answer, I hear you.
Aynama. What you say? Aynama was?
Aynama is wherever.
Wherever.
Aina, Aina is where. Like I said, min aina anta. Where are you from?
Yeah.
And then ma is like what?
What?
So
Whatever.
aina ma, whatever, wherever, like this,
Wherever.
right? Wherever.
Can you say it as whatever?
No, though you want to tell somebody whatever, you don't say that. No.
Oh,
This is a literally wherever, like this, right?
okay. Aynama.
No, Rab, it's mansub for sure, but Rab could be a badal or it could be a sifa. A lot of times, like Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah. They differ. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, are they attributes here? Are they names here, which are you can replace Allah with? So I read in the name of Ar-Rahman, I read in the name of Ar-Rahim, or are they adjectives of Allah here? So I wouldn't say it like that. I would just say I read in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. You understand? So is it name or a badal? It's a small difference, but they differ over that. You know. So Rabb could be a badal, or it could be just an adjective. Any other questions? Okay, he says, this is the reader. The reader read that text, right? Let me go back up. And then the Shaykh, he commented on that text. He said, منهج الشيخ رحمه الله ومنهج الداعية الصادق المخلص أن يدعو لغيره. منهج الشيخ or منهج الشيخ would be better. منهج الشيخ مضاف مضاف إليه. The methodology of the Sheikh, the way of the Sheikh, his habit or pattern, right? His methodology, rahimahullah. ومنهج الداعية. الداعية is from the word or the root da'u, like the word da'wa, right? Or du'a. A da'iya is one who calls to Islam, right? One who calls people to practice Islam. Call the Muslims to practice Islam and call the kuffar to Islam. وَمِنْهَجُ الدَّاعِيَةِ, and this is going to be the Sheikh and Da'iyah, both are majroor because they're mudaf ilayh. وَمِنْهَجُ الدَّاعِيَةِ as-sadiq, going to be majroor, right? As-sadiq here from sad, dal, qaf, meaning truthful. As-sadiq, the truthful da'i, the truthful caller. Al-mukhlis, again majroor because it's an adjective describing a da'iyah, the one who calls to Islam. وَمِنْهَجُ الدَّاعِيَةِ الصَّادِقِ الْمُخْلِصِ, and the way or the methodology of the sincere, the truthful, sincere caller, and يَدْعُو لِغَيْرِهِ, is that يَدْعُو from da'a يَدْعُو, he calls, he makes dua لِغَيْرِهِ, he makes dua li for غير, other, he, لِغَيْرِهِ. He makes dua for other than himself. He makes dua for other than himself, or for others, you could say. فَكَثِيرًا مَا يَذْكُرُ الشَّيْخ. Fa here is so, kathiran, much, ma or many, or much, or a lot. Ma yadhkuru shaykhu, shaykh is the fa'il. What the shaykh he mentions, or the shaykh mentions a lot, basically. Fa kathiran ma yadhkuru shaykh. So the shaykh he mentions this a lot. Wa yusaddiru. Yusaddiru. This is form number 2 of sadara, sad, dal, ra, form 2, meaning to begin with, or to bring in the beginning, or to introduce. Yusaddiru rasailahu. He begins his rasail. Rasail is the plural of risala. Risala. Rasail is the plural of risala. From rasala, or we have the word arsala, yursilu, and we have the word rasul, for like messenger. Same word, someone who is sent. Rasail is something that I sent you, a letter, basically, that I sent you. وَيُصَدِّرُ رَسَائِلَهُ. We said it's mansoob here because it's the object of what he began. He began his letters, his treaties, right? Bi-du'a'i, with dua. وَكَمَا سَيَأْتِي فِي ثَلَاثَةُ الْأُصُولِ. And just like you're going to find, or كَمَا سَيَأْتِي from ata yati, to come. To come. Sayati, this is will come. This sa is the scene of the future. Right? Like the word sofa. Sofa. Ta'lamun or saya'lamun. Like this, right? Sa and sofa. Sayati fi thalathatul usul. It's going to come in the book thalathatul usul. You're going to find a lot of dhikr, a lot of dua rather. فهنا, this is fa, like so or therefore. Huna, here. Huna is here. Hunaka. Right there, sorry. Hunaka is there. Huna is here. So here, i'lam arshadak Allah li ta'atihi. I'm going to read it and then we'll go read it again. وَأَيْدًا أَسْأَلُ اللَّهَ أَنْ يَتَوَلَّاكَ وَرَحِمَكَ اللَّهُ. These phrases, هنا, فهنا اعلم, know, as we said, from alima ya'lamu i'lam. That's a verb, a command verb telling you know. Fil amr, i'lam. Arshadak Allah, from rushd, ra, sheen, dal, like the word rashid for guidance, right? Arshadak Allah, may Allah guide you. Arshadak Allahu li ta'atihi, to his obedience. Li, to, ta'a, obedience, ta'atihi, his obedience. So he makes dua later on inside of this matan, al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba. He gives the dua, i'lam arshadak Allah. وَأَيْدًا, and he says here, أَسْأَلُ اللَّهَ أَنْ يَتَوَلَّاكَ. And the Sheikh just cut out al-Kareem, Rabb al-Arsh al-Azim for the briefness of it, right? أَسْأَلُ اللَّهَ أَنْ يَتَوَلَّاكَ. You see, he's making dua for you. I ask Allah that he makes you a friend, a wali. And he'll say, i'lam rahimakallah. No, may Allah have mercy on you. So this is something that you find the Sheikh doing a lot. Aidan means also. Fahuna, so here, i'lam arshadak Allah li ta'atihi. No, may Allah guide you to his obedience. Wa aidan, and also, as'alullaha an yatawallaka. I ask Allah that he makes you a wali. And rahimakallah, may Allah have mercy on you. Kathiran, it's a lot. Kathiran, it's a lot. You find him doing this a lot. وَفِي رَسَائِلِهِ, and this is the same word that we found up here, and we said up here it had a fatha on the lam. It was mansub because it was the maf'ulun bihi, the object of the verb. However, here, fi rasailihi, here it's majroor after fi. Fi rasailihi, in his letters. Ash-shakhsiyya. Shakhsiyya is from sheen, khaf, sad. Sheen, khaf, sad is like something to do with a personal or individual. Here, rasailihi ash-shakhsiyya, right? And we're going to say it is majroor. Why is it majroor? Because rasailihi is majroor. His letters, huwa, is going to be, if we were to say rasaili Muhammad, that's his name, we would say rasaili Muhammadin. We would make Muhammad majroor because it is mudaf ilayh. Huwa is replacing Muhammad here, but it's still in the position of being majroor, and here we get to read it or see it because of the kasra on the lam, so we say it on the ha here too. And shakhsiyya is an adjective describing these letters. These letters are personal letters, or letters he sent to, not a book he wrote for the general masses, but something he wrote to someone in person, a personal letter. And it has an alif lam on it because it's agreeing with rasail. Now rasail doesn't have alif lam on it. However, it is definite due to it being mudaf. We know that the word mudaf is definite even it doesn't have the alif lam. So ash-shakhsiyya, it has to have the alif lam here to agree with its noun being definite. وَفِي رَسَائِلِهِ الشَّخْصِيَّةِ, and in his personal letters, يَكْتُبُ لِبَعْدِ مَنْ يُعَدِّيهِ. Li here is to, he wrote, yaktub, he wrote, kataba yaktubu. And in some of his personal letters, وَفِي رَسَائِلِهِ الشَّخْصِيَّةِ يَكْتُبُ لِبَعْدِ, he wrote libadi, to some. Remember, bad with a dad is some. Ba'da with a dal means after. You want to make sure there's a difference. Bad with a dal means after. Bad with a dad means some. Men is who, right? But we won't translate it as who, as you'll see in a second. But you understand the concept here. Men yu'adihi, and you might translate it as who. Li ba'di, men, and is e ba'di because of the lit. It's a harf jar, which makes it majroor. Li ba'di men yu'adihi. Yu'adihi is from ayn dal waw, having to do with enmity. This is form 3. Yu'adihi here means him. To some who, man is who, yu'adihi, who took him as an enemy. Someone who took him as an enemy. They took his call to Tawheed, his call to pure Tawheed and Sunnah as a call of enmity. وَفِي رَسَائِلِهِ الشَّخْصِيَّةِ يَكْتُبُ لِبَعْدِ مَنْ يُعَادِيهِ, and in some of his personal letters he wrote to some of who had taken him as an enemy. He would say to them, wa anta, and you, me men, you are from those. Ad'u lahu, from da'a yad'u, that I call, I make dua, lahu, for him, fi sujudi, in my sajda. So we would write to someone who had taken him as an enemy. And notice how he said it. He had taken him as an enemy. Not that he took them as enemies, but they took him as an enemy. He would say, "Wa anta mimman ad'u lahu fi sujudi," and I am, and you are from those who I make dua for in my sajda. Wa yadullu ala sidqihi fi ad-da'wa. Wa yadullu Yadullu from dalla yadullu. Dal lam. Dalla yadullu. Wa yadullu, and it points to, or it shows, or it's an evidence, ala sidqihi, for his truthfulness. The same where we said someone is truthful, the fa'il, as-sadiq. Here, sidqihi, ala sidqihi, because it's after ala, harf jar, fi da'wati, in calling or propagating Islam. Any questions?
No.
Before we go any further, we'll go back up a little bit and we'll ask Abdullah first to read up until that point. Bi'idhnillah. We didn't ask Abdullah to laugh, we asked him to read.
Where?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. هذا هو المتن الثاني.
Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هذا هو المتن الثاني. If you stop moving. وهو متن القواعد الأربع. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولاك في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يجعل لك
مباركا
أينما كنت.
نعم.
مناجة
منهج الشيخ
رحمه الله ومنهج
داعيتي مضاف إليه, just like منهج الشيخ منهج الداعيتي
صادق
مخلصا له الدين مخلص.
يبدأ لغيره
and يدعو. You see this, Abdullah? يدعو.
And يدعو.
نعم.
يدعو لغيره. ذكر يذكر شيء. يصدر رسائله.
لا رسائله. It's mansub because it's the maf'ulun bihi, the object of the verb. What did he yusaddir? What did he begin? What did he introduce with? Rasailahu, his letters. La. B is a harf jar, preposition. Bid-du'ai.
Bid-du'ai.
No, bid-du'a, you would just stop and say bid-du'a unless you were reading, and you could say it quickly. وكثير ما يذكر الشيخ ويصدر رسائله بدعائه وكما سيأتي هكذا. You would do it quickly. But if you're stopping, ويصدر رسائله بالدعاء.
وكما سيأتي في ثلاثة أصول.
نعم.
فهنا اعلم الشيخ أرشدك
أرشدك الله.
Okay, أرشدك الله لطاعته
طاعته. Ta'ati, because of the li. Li is harf jar, preposition. Ta'a is obedience. Ta'atihi is obedience.
وأيضا أسأل الله أن يتولك رحمه كثيرا
كثيرا. Don't forget this ya. Don't forget this ya. كثيرا. نعم.
وفي وسائله الشخصية يكتب لبعض من
بعدي harf jar making the ظرف, the noun after it, مجرور.
لبعض من يعادي I think that's عباده وأنت لمن أدعوله
أدعو له
أدعو له في سجدي
Come on, Abdullah. Sujudi. You took Ramadan off and got lazy on me, man.
سجودي ويدل ألا صدقه في I guess داود
في الدعوة على صدقه في دعوة. Now, I recommend and everybody who's in here before, but those who are new, they don't know it, but those in before, print this book out. And as we go over it in class, as we write them down. That way you have it. Do it in pencil. That way if you want to erase it later on and just read it without the vowels, you can, but you can also print out another copy if you want it. And do it in pencil. That way if I make a mistake and you guys got to fix me, you can fix it too. You know what I mean? Abdullah, Abu Tahir, yalla.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هذا هو المتن الثاني وهو متن القواعد الأربع. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولك في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. منهاج الشيخ رحمه الله والمنهج الداعية الصادق المخلص أن يدعو لغيره، فكثيرا ما يذكر الشيخ ويصدر رسائله بالدعاء، وكما سيأتي في ثلاثة الأصول. فهن علم أرشدك الله بطاعته، وأيضا أسأل الله أن يتولك رحمه الله كثيرا، وفي وسائله الشخصية يكتب لبعض من يعادي وأنت ممن أدعو له في سجودي ويدل على صدقه في الدعوة.
يا حماد تريد أن تقرأ? You want to read?
No. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, أخي.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هذا هو متن ثاني وهو متن قواعد 4. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولك في الدنيا وآخرته، وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت.
أينما
أينما كنت.
نعم.
منهج الشيخ رحمه الله ومنهج داعية صادق المخلص أن يدعو لغيره، فكثيرا ما يذكر الشيخ ويصدر رسائله بالدعاء، وكما سيأتي في ثلاث الأصول.
في ثلاثة الأصول.
في ثلاثة الأصول.
نعم.
فهنا اعلم أرشدك الله لطاعته، وأيضا أسأل الله أن يتولك.
أسأل الله. We ask Allah. He's the object, so it's mansoob.
نعم. أسأل الله أن يتولك رحمك الله كثيرا، وفي رسائله شخصية يكتب للبعض من يعاده، وأنت ممن أدعو له في السجود، ويدل على صدقه في الدعاء، في الدعوة. نعم.
Heather Yuki 96, is it a woman or a man? Do you want to read? If you're a man and you got a headset, you want to read, I'll open your mic. You can type over there. Oh, female, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. You want to read, Amir?
I'll try.
You'll try? MashaAllah.
Without the حركة. هذا هو المتن. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هذا هو المتن الثاني، وهو متن القواعد الأربع. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش. أسأل الله الكريم رب العرش العظيم.
لا.
رب العرش العظيم.
نعم.
رب
العرش
العظيم أن يتولاك في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. منهج الشيخ رحمه الله ومنهج الداعية الصادق المخلص أن يدعو لغيره، فكثيرا ما يذكر الشيخ ويصدر رسائله بالدعاء، وكما سيأتي في ثلاثة الأصول. فهنا اعلم أرشدك الله لطاعته، وأيضا أسأل الله أن يتولاك رحمك الله كثيرا، وفي رسائله الشخصية يكتب لبعض من يعاديه، وأنت ممن أدعو له في سجودي، ويدل على صدقه في الدعوة.
Inshallah, we'll finish this page. It's just one paragraph left, inshallah ta'ala. وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. هذه دعوة عظيمة، فالمسلم يدعو لنفسه كثيرا بأن يكون مباركا، فإن من يكون مباركا عم نفعه وكثر. وعيسى عليه السلام قال وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت. وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت, we already read that, which it means, and to make you blessed wherever you may be. هذه, as we said, هذه is the feminine for هذا. And up ahead we said metin, هذا al-metin. It was metin is a masculine word. Da'wa, as we see with this ta marbuta, is a feminine word. So we say هذه da'watun azimatun. This is a tremendous da'wah, a tremendous call, a tremendous dua. Azima is tremendous, right? And it's feminine agreeing with da'wah. You might find metin, for example, you might say metin azim or hadith azim, right? When it's masculine, azim will be masculine. But here, da'wah is feminine, so azim became feminine. وَهَذِهِ دَعْوَةٌ عَظِيمَةٌ. This is a tremendous da'wah, a tremendous dua, a tremendous call. A dua is a call. You're calling someone. You're calling Allah Azza wa Jal. فَالْمُسْلِمُ. So the Muslim, يَدْعُو. He calls. He makes dua. لِنَفْسِهِ. For himself. كَثِيرًا. For himself a lot. He should make dua for himself a lot. Or he does this a lot. B, we're not going to translate it as with. Normally translate with the name of Allah, in the name of Allah. We're not going to translate it. We're not going to do that. Because of yad'u, right? This bit is there. Yad'u bi. He's calling with something. What is he calling with? The dua that he makes. An yakuna mubarakan. That he becomes blessed. Yakuna, it's normally yakunu, but because of the n, we said it makes the verb mansub. And yakuna mubarakan. He makes the dua that he becomes blessed. Fa inna, for verily, men, whoever, yakun mubarakan. And here, this is the same word. Yakun and yakun. It's the same word. But the waw is missing because this is majzoom. It has a sukoon on it. Why does it have a sukoon on it? Because it's a shart. It's a condition. As we said, that if something has a condition, if it's conditional, then it's going to be majzoom. Right? And we learned that in Nahul Wadi. You can go back to those videos, or we'll have Nahul Wadi in a couple days and you can maybe read it with us. Who knows? So yakun here is majzoom. And when it said yakun with the waw in it, when we put the sukoon on the noon, we already had a sukoon on the waw, basically. Even if we don't write it, it was there. And you can't have two second letters next to each other, so we get rid of the weak one. So we say yakun. Men yakun mubarakan. Fa inna men yakun mubarakan. So whoever is blessed, right? So this is the condition. Whoever is blessed, amma, from the root ayn mim, amma meaning to be general, like we have the science in tafsir, in khas, right? Something, is this ayat general or is it specific, right? When we have, for instance, something about something happened, is this general for everyone, or does it apply only to Abu Lahab or only to somebody, right? So amma naf'ahu. Naf'a. Trying to write it. Sorry. Naf'ahu. Meaning his benefit. Naf'a is his benefit. Noon, fa, ayn, nafa. Nafi, like ilmun nafi, beneficial knowledge. Naf'ahu. Amma naf'ahu. His benefit spreads. It becomes more general. It's not in one particular specific place. Rather, it becomes in general places and spread it. So, men yakun mubarakan, whoever becomes blessed, amma naf'ahu wa kathura. His benefit becomes general or widespread, wa kathura, and it increases from the word kathiran, right? kathura. It increases. وعيسى عليه السلام قال, and Isa, he said, وجعلني, and he's making dua. وجعلني, and he made me mubarakan. He made me blessed. أينما كنت. أينما is written here like this. It's not written as one word because that's how Uthman had it written, right? But we write it today together. And if you give me a second, I'll look in the Mus'haf and I'll see if we can find it written together elsewhere in the Mus'haf. Because sometimes we find words written one way and then we find them written another way as well, right? Aynama. Yes, you find it in a number of spots, 4 spots, right? Baqarah, Nisa, and Nahl, and Ahzab. You find it written together like we had above. And here in this ayat, we find it written separately. And I'll see how many times that is, inshallah. 20 times it occurs. Written like this, right? Or maybe not. Yeah, close to 20. 10 times, I think. 10 times in 20 ayat, right? So, 10 times. So, وَجَعَلَنِي, and he made me mubarakan aynama kunt, wherever I may be. Talking about Allah made him blessed, right? Wherever he may be. Any questions?
No.
Okay, then read this, Ya Abdullah from Memphis.
وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. هذا هو هذه دعوتي دعوة عظيمة. فالمسلم يدعو لنفسه كثيرا.
Don't lose that ya, man. Start prolonging it for me. You see those? Kathirun, yad'u, mal. If you got to prolong them like till you get it, till you're able to do it, then prolong it. No problem.
Okay, كثيرا بأن يكون مباركا فإن من يكون مباركا أما
Naf'ahu. It's mansub because it's what's spreading. Naf'ahu, it spreads. Its benefit spreads, right?
Yes. نفعه وكثر وعيسى عليه السلام قال عليه السلام قال وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت.
يلا أبو طاهر.
وأن يجعلك مباركا أينما كنت. هذه دعوة عظيمة. فالمسلم يدعو لنفسه كثيرا بأن يكون مباركا فإن من يكون مباركا أما نفعه وكثر. وعيسى عليه السلام قال وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت.
نعم يا حماد.
نعم. وأن يجعلك مباركا
أن يجعل لك آسف يجعل with a fatha because N, right?
نعم. أن يجعل لك مباركا أينما كنت. هذه دعوة عظيمة. فالمسلم يدعو لنفسه كثيرا بأن يكون مباركا فإن من يكون مباركا أما نفعه وكثر. وعيسى عليه السلام قال ويجعلني مباركا.
There's no ya. وجعلني.
سبحان الله. وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت.
نعم. Allah yubarak fikum. This is the first day. We don't have a lot of time. We can maybe read the next one, but we'll just wait because it's short. We'll do it tomorrow together. You know, I don't know if I get the videos up online as fast as I was doing in Kuwait because I'm moving around a lot while I'm here. But inshallah ta'ala, I'll get it up tomorrow sometime. And I'll see y'all brothers tomorrow. If there's any questions, you know, you just text me. Oh, wait 1 second. We got one more brother to read. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
المسلم يدعو لنفسه بأن يكون مباركا فإن من يكون مباركا عم نفعه وكثر. وعيسى عليه السلام قال وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت.
Naam. Allah yubarak fikum. I'll see you brothers and sisters tomorrow. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.